Hello. Hey guys. We are Sean and Christy. This is Long Long Honeymoon coming to you once again with a live stream, the 4th of July stream.
Pre 4th of July stream. So chime in, let us know if you can hear us, if you can see us, if everything looks good and sounds good.
Yeah, that's always helpful to make sure that all of our equipment is working.
Yes.
Because we're juggling technology as always. We do these live streams really for you guys and for us too. It's a great way to connect with you and hear direct feedback from you. If you've got any questions you want to ask us, please ask us. This is the forum for that. During the live stream, we typically do a lot of shout outs and reading of your comments. And just to get started on that, Laura says all's good on the technology front.
Perfect. Somebody else says finally see and hear you.
John Beck says I hear you. Traveler Gal says everything's good there in New Mexico. It's always amazing during these live streams to hear from people all throughout the country and the world, really.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
it's remarkable to me how many people will tune in to Long Long Honeymoon videos just from so many different places. Because I think at some point in life, almost everyone has that dream of traveling with an RV, throughout the United States and beyond, perhaps. And so there are a lot of people who actually have watched our videos over the years who may or may not own an RV. They're just interested in travel, and they have that dream of someday doing it themselves.
Yes.
Cindy Michaels says she sees and hears us.
Hi, Aunt Cindy.
Hi, Aunt Cindy. Tony and Kathy say our equipment's working. Camper says all's good in Bama. So, there's Matt, our first subscriber.
Where is he?
I saw his comment in here.
Where are you, Matt?
Well, he's in here. So again, we're kind of coming back up to speed on some of this stuff. And
it's been a hot minute since we have done a live stream. I think maybe almost over a year. So we used to do them fairly regularly, and it is a skill that you have to polish a little bit. So bear with us if we're not on our
Vito
A-game
Frank
tonight.
says, "What's up from Long Island?"
Oh wow, hi Vito.
And there's Cindy and Marion,
North Carolina. Oh, G. Scott Lockwood.
Danny, Maggie Hancock.
Hi guys.
You guys are looking wonderful.
Scott Lockwood is tuning in from Big Sky, Montana. Hi, Scott.
We hung out with Scott many, many years ago. I guess we first met in Arizona. And had a great time. And would love to do that again, Scott.
Yeah.
Introduced me to one of his favorite Montana beverages, if I recall correctly.
That's right. Oh, goodness.
Nathan is in Denver, Colorado, and saw us pull into Grovant last year at the Dalmatians. Say hi.
Oh, fun.
I'm actually wearing a Jackson Hole t-shirt.
Yep.
Here today. So we hope all of you have had a great year so far. There's Matt's comments.
There he is. Matt is seriously one of our very first subscribers. He's been with us for the full 16 years.
He must be the first. I mean, this guy, we have to give a shout out and stop for a moment, because when we very first started posting YouTube videos, it was almost before there was even the channel concept. People didn't have YouTube channels. You just threw videos up.
We had a blog.
And it was mostly like cat videos and dancing videos on YouTube. And
videos could only be 3 minutes long,
right?
Too, so they were short.
So we were putting up these little blurbs from our travels, and there's this guy in Maryland, I believe, who would tune in and was watching our videos regularly. I was like, I think we have a follower. I want to give a shout out to Richard Delaney. Thank you for the super sticker.
For the super sticker.
Appreciate it very much.
That's awesome.
And yeah, so this is great. I hope all of you are having a good holiday weekend, and maybe have some plans tomorrow to get together with friends and family, and maybe have a little barbecue and shoot some fireworks if that's legal where you live.
We'll try to shout some of you guys out. We've got Carrie tuning in from Upper Peninsula of Michigan. It has been a long while since we've been to the UP, but it's beautiful. We need to go back.
Yeah, we loved our visit to the UP.
It was really something that I had no idea what to expect, and I was pleasantly surprised because it was great.
Underway shift colors says, can't wait to laugh. Hopefully we will laugh.
Oh, Mr. Roboto. Hi, Mr. Roboto.
I always have to say Domo Arigato, Mr. Roboto. It's been way too long since I said that. Mr. Roboto, I don't know if you caught this, but in our most recent video, we had a tiny, tiny little clip from the song Mr. Roboto. Like very tiny clip, because that was the song that was playing in a fuel station where we had stopped. So that's pretty funny.
Hopefully we don't have to pay royalties on
that. Mr. Roboto is heading out west in September for a long, long trip to the national parks.
Perfect.
That's awesome. We always try and hit some new national parks now every year when we go out. And last year, White Sands and Big Bend.
And Big Bend
were two new to us national parks.
And we really just scratched the surface of Big Bend. I mean, we need to go back and really explore there.
We also did some cool stuff in Utah, like goosenecks, and we spent a little time near Moab, which we'd been to Moab many times before, actually, but there's so much to see and do around Moab, you can't really see it all in one visit. So unless you have one really long visit, unless you're living there for a while.
Yeah, there's so much to see and do there that, yeah, you could go for years and not see it all.
Chad just got back from Jasper and Banff. Said, we have been to Banff, but never Jasper. I don't know why we didn't go to Jasper. We were so close.
Think we were on some sort of time crunch, and we made it to Banff, but didn't have time to go up to Jasper. So I'm not sure what the time crunch was. I don't remember. It's been so long ago, but I would love to go back. I think you would like to go back to Banff because when we were there, they were redoing the entire main street. So it was close to traffic. It was completely ripped up. So we kind of had to take all the little side roads in town. So I would like to go back and see it the way it's meant to be seen and then go up into Jasper. I think that would be nice.
If you've never been up to that part of North America, the water is an amazing color because it's this glacial runoff. It's this sort of teal green color.
It's a very unusual color.
It almost looks fake.
Yes, it
almost
really
looks
does.
like Disney put it together, but it's actually prettier than anything Disney could come up with.
Yeah,
so
beautiful.
Pretty amazing. Let's see. Janice is RVing in
wow.
Valdez.
We had torrential downpours when we were in Valdez. In fact, the campground called us and said, unless you want to stay here for 2 weeks, you need to leave now.
We were literally like the last people out of Valdez before the road washed away.
Yeah.
And I say that, but certainly in our campground, I mean, the staff specifically told us, you guys need to leave. And we left probably 6:30 or 7 at night one night because they said if you stay overnight, there will not be a road there.
Yeah, it washes out some bridge.
Yeah. So
so thankfully they were nice enough to call us and tell us that because we would have had no idea. We just thought it was, a rainy downpour. We didn't know that it would wash out the main road and it takes them about 2 weeks to get it back together.
The funny thing about travel, and this is true, both of RV travel and all kinds of travel, sometimes those challenging experiences become some of your favorite and most cherished. And so I actually have fond memories of Valdez, even though we ended up being chased out of town in a torrential downpour.
They become the good stories later.
Yeah, that's what makes for good stories.
Wow, Robert Dunlop.
Dunlop.
Steve Moody's in Kentucky. Hi, Steve. Yep. Thanks for tuning in.
Steve Moody is in Kentucky, and Robert Dunlop is in Australia. It's 9:30 a.m.
So I think
on
you
Tuesday.
Get a cheers for tuning in from the furthest destination, I think.
Yep, the furthest so far. And that's obviously just about on the opposite side of the world. Yeah. Earlier this year, we actually spent time in Thailand, and it is a very neat 12-hour time difference. It's just literally on the opposite side from where we typically live in the United States.
And actually during time savings here, it's 13 hours ahead. So even a little further.
James Sterrett says, happy 4th of July from the great Northwest. Very beautiful weather, no humidity.
Perfect.
Yes, that's nice.
This is the best time of year, I think, to be in the Northwest.
Yeah.
It's warm enough. It's sunny, not humid. It's great.
It's worked out for us many times to be in Washington State and Oregon in that sort of mid to late summer time frame. And it's certainly beautiful at that time. Let's see. Darren is watching from Funny National Park.
I don't know. I don't know if I'm familiar with Funny National
Funay
Park.
National Park in New Brunswick, just across the bay from Nova Scotia. We'll have to look
Nice.
that up.
Yeah. We still haven't made it to Nova Scotia, New Brunswick. One day we're going to take our RV there.
Here's a
Not
familiar
sure when.
face.
Oh, hi,
Before it's
Rachel.
from exotic Hoover, Alabama.
So Rachel's my best friend.
Hello,
hi,
Rachel.
Thanks
Shout
for
out to
tuning in.
Rachel.
Hi to Tim
There's
and
Matt.
Anna. There's Matt.
That is awesome. So we've got people really from all over the country and all over the
Yes.
world. Larry says your videos were a great help when we planned our trip to the Mighty Five. Yep, Mighty Five of Utah. Utah has 5 national parks, and they're uniquely different. I mean, each park
Very
is
different, I think.
worthwhile, like a destination, being a destination park. So I would recommend, if you do have the time when you go to Utah.
They're all in southern Utah, so they're not terribly far from each other, but they're beautiful. They're, this is a hot time of year to be going.
But they're so different. Like Canyonlands is vast and comparable to the Grand Canyon.
Yes.
And Capitol Reef is kind of small.
Yes.
But, I have fond memories.
Has some really unique hiking.
Yep. So
there's Carnooch.
Carnooch.
Hi.
Little Champy pulling. So there's Carnooch, a little Champy 2500 pulling one of our AC off start. I think we caught part of a comment there.
Yeah, maybe so.
But I know we're talking about champion generators. A shocking number of people come to our channel for generator reviews.
Yes.
And that's why over the years, I've reviewed a lot of generators. I get requests to review generators. And then I review generators and people say, why are you reviewing generators? So you can't win.
Oh, there's Richard Delaney.
Yeah, there's Richard's.
There.
Yeah. Thank you, Richard.
Thank you so much for that. We appreciate it.
Tip
Richard.
of the hat. Appreciate it very much.
Very much. So nice and generous.
Helps keep the lights on here,
Yep.
Hello, Ron in California.
Oh,
Matt wants to see us in a Prevost. Well,
are you taking up donations for that?
Yeah, we're gonna need some more super stickers for the Prevost, I'm afraid, but unless it's a 1972 Prevost. Let's see.
Yeah, Martin.
Martin asks, would love to hear you guys comment on the reservation changes in Florida regarding Florida residents getting priority. So I assume this would be Florida State Parks.
Yeah,
so
it is Florida State Parks.
My wife appears to be.
I know that this change is coming. I don't know when it's going into effect. And honestly, I don't know the specific details of it. But they are going to be opening up reservations to residents before people from out of state. Yeah, I mean, I sort of understand, Florida state parks for the most part are there for Floridians. I mean, everybody's state park, anybody can enjoy them, of course. But as a resident, it's sort of like, I don't know, it's kind of like your own backyard and your chance to explore it. So I do understand having some reservations that are priority for Florida natives and people that live there.
Plus, Florida is a unique state it's inundated by snowbirds.
Oh yeah, people from all over the country.
Yeah.
So I could sort of get having some spots available priority to locals. I don't understand if they're going to open it up to everybody. If they're going to prioritize all the sites to Florida residents, then I think that's probably a little too much.
Yeah, maybe have a certain percentage.
Yeah, like a certain percentage. So I don't know the details on that. I need to read up on it before I give a full opinion.
Nani says it's 102 degrees today in Texas. Oscar says, glad you guys are streaming.
Thanks,
Happy 4th of
Oscar.
July, and a Houston shout out. So
Houston.
You can see we got folks from all over the country.
Yes, absolutely.
A lot of this country is hot right now. It's probably 95 to 100 degrees where we are now, and we have the humidity to go along with it.
Yes, it's like stepping into a sauna when you go outside.
But Pat probably has cooler evenings in
Massachusetts.
So
Candy is in Woodland, Washington. Thanks for tuning in.
And you'll notice we have
Beth
people watching the stream both on YouTube and the Facebook.
And Facebook, yeah.
So we've got comments coming in from both platforms, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, very much so.
Let's see.
Oh, wow. Oh, and what was his name? Darren, I think, that said he was in Funny National Park. He corrected it to say Fundy.
Okay.
So
Funny National Park. It could be a thing. I don't know.
so Fundy National Park. Yes. So I think that's a Canadian national
Maybe it was,
park.
I thought maybe it was some Canadian humor going on there. I don't know. Funny National Park.
Oh wow, Medora, North Dakota. We are very familiar with Medora. They have the fastest internet.
Oh, Randy's heading to Alaska on a caravan for 2
Oh
months.
wow, that's going to be really fun.
Yeah, I think you're hitting it at the right time.
Sweet spot.
Yeah,
for
this
sure.
is a good time to go up. We went up a little bit later.
We
And
left like mid to late July.
yeah, kind of
and
late.
Yeah.
We
It was
went up
great.
pretty late. I think you're probably going to have a different
bit better
experience.
weather.
A lot of the campgrounds were closed by the time even when we were going up there, a lot of
Yeah.
them were empty. And by the time we were coming back down, a lot of the campgrounds were
We're
closed.
completely closed.
I would love to return to Alaska. I think that's still, after all these years and all the different trips that we've done, it was my favorite trip. Like it
Yeah.
was kind of the most ambitious Airstream
It
or
was an
RV
epic
trip.
It
was an
5
epic trip.
months, you know.
Now we had everything go wrong, and actually I did a dedicated video just demonstrating everything that went wrong. I mean,
Yeah.
everything from massive truck problems to massive trailer problems. You know, blown tires, blown engines.
But don't let that discourage you, Randy.
No, I mean, like no, that's the irony of it. It's still
It was
my
still one
favorite
of our
trip,
greatest trips. Yeah, absolutely.
but a lot went wrong that time, and I think it was just that was just going to happen with our rig. It was that time for our rig. It needed a lot of service. 2 captains, 1 ship. Chip and Shannon, thank you for the super chat. Say
We'll find you when
they're
we scroll down
enjoying
in a minute.
Myrtle Beach. Yep. Let's see if I can
You're
find
down
it.
there somewhere.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of comments here.
Comments sort of go really fast, so we're doing the best we can to keep up.
Yeah, we really do our best to
hi.
see all your comments.
Nathan
Living our
and
journey.
Tessie.
Nathan and Tessie say hi, you two.
Hello.
Nice to see
Thanks
you.
for tuning
Thanks,
in,
guys.
you guys.
Appreciate it very much.
Yes.
Albert Hounds, hello from South Carolina. John Nunya, I would like to hear your thoughts on the filming ban in national parks. That is a provocative question, John. You know,
we give that 2 thumbs down.
You know, maybe I'll do a dedicated video about this. And what John's talking about is there's been some back and forth with regard to the legality of filming in national parks, which, you know, these days everybody is carrying a high definition camera in their pocket. Everybody's filming in national parks. Everybody that goes to a national park is doing photography and filming. Now, some people create videos that promote the national parks, you know, and I would say, you know, we fall in that category that over the years we've done a lot of promotion of the national parks. And that is what apparently they're trying to stop. So it's very ironic to me because, you know, we get approached from people who want us to make videos promoting their service or business. And, you know, we have aggressively promoted the national parks over the years. And the thank you we receive is stop promoting us. It's like, so how would you feel about it?
Yeah.
If you were in our position? You know, and they actually benefit from all the fees that they collect. You know, we paid for every campsite. You know, anytime we've ever stayed in a national park, we haven't gotten a free hot dog, you know? And so, so it's just really, really comical to me. But, you know, what's next with the government? So maybe I'll talk more about that in a video because I think it is an interesting topic. But it is kind of
one that affects us more than the average person.
I mean, you know, it's almost like, okay, where can we go make videos? Now, ironically, you know, we spend a lot of time in Asia. They invite you, like in the Philippines, they say, please come visit our beaches. Please come make videos of the Philippines. You want to fly your drone? No problem. Go for it. They love it.
They're thrilled when you want to promote it.
Because you're promoting them. We're promoting the national parks. Why would you stop people from promoting your service and business? I don't know. Government thinking. That's the government. That's what we call the government. All right. Hey, Greg in Toledo. Klinger was from Toledo.
Oh, yeah. Good memory. I would have forgotten that. For those of you that don't know what he's talking about MASH.
Monroe asks, are you roasting? We are kind of roasting weather-wise right now because, I mean, we're in the deep south and it is hot and steamy right now. This is a good time to be up north or out west, quite frankly. Zoo Labs is catchy wherever they can. RVing Busy Bees says happy 4th of July.
Happy 4th. We hope you guys are out enjoying something fun.
Tara says you
thank
guys have the best content. Thank you very much. What items do you absolutely need to have in your towing vehicle to make your trip comfortable and safe? That is an interesting question. I would say, we do have a dedicated GPS. And we
Yes.
actually use 2 GPSs now. And we kind of recommend that you use 2. I mean, we have an RV GPS. And for those of you with the really tall RV rigs, like the really tall fifth wheels and motorhomes, having an RV unit can really help your safety,
Can save you.
especially traveling in the Northeast when you might
Yes.
have low bridges and so forth. Now,
As far as comfort goes, I would say we have nice bedding, good pillows. I
this
think.
is tow vehicle though.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought she was.
You have
asking
bedding in the tow vehicle?
Well, you might want a pillow in there.
You might.
Yeah, I mean, within your tow vehicle, comfortable and safe. Yeah, I think, like you
So-
said, the RV GPS, and just we do put a cooler in the back seat sometimes. That just
Yeah.
has some cold drinks and snacks in it.
Cold drinks and
That
snacks.
just keep you from having to stop anytime you want to get, something like that.
The other comfort feature that I've featured in a video before that's in our truck is, sometimes with an RV, if you're towing, you might have long days of driving. And this sounds like such an old man thing to say, but I was having some back pain. I got just this cheap little lumbar support,
Oh, right.
like for
Yeah.
$10, and it ended up being like indispensable.
Yeah.
Now we have a slightly older truck, and I know like
We don't have the lumbar
the
support.
new trucks probably have built-in massage into the seats and all, but we don't have that fancy stuff in our truck. So that lumbar support was really helpful. So listen to your body. What's your body telling you at the end of a towing day?
Yeah.
My body was telling me you got to do something about that seat to provide a little more lumbar support. So little things like that can make a big difference when you're traveling.
Hi, Doug.
When Doug grows up, he wants a shout out. Someday, Doug.
You're officially grown.
Doug Gardner, this is your day for your shout out. Oh, wow. We just got another really generous super chat from Linda Durst.
Yeah.
Thank you, Linda.
We'll feature you when
We
we
will
scroll down
feature
and
you.
find you.
Yeah, we're plowing through a lot of comments here. It can be a little bit overwhelming.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you still care.
Yes. Thank you for tuning in.
Yeah.
We know it's been a while.
Oh,
so there's
Aaron.
Oh, Aaron Jacobs. Thank you, Aaron. We hope
Thank
that
you,
you had
Aaron.
a great time at the International Rally in Wyoming. We have a lot of friends that went this year, and we weren't able to make it, but we heard great things about it.
I know. I hope it was I'm sure it was a good event. Aaron says, have a cocktail on me. Just got to Chicago from Wyoming.
Wow.
Awesome.
You've had some long towing days, Aaron.
Let's
It's
see.
a lot of ground to cover. Thank you very much. And she's also a member of our channel. So if you see that next to somebody's name, that little kind of weird
That's right.
symbol, that means they're a member of our channel.
Wow, there's another
Wow.
very generous super chat from Raymond Russell, who asked, any thoughts or experience with a car generator inverter that hooks up to your car's battery?
Car generator inverter. I don't know if I'm familiar with that.
We do not have experience with that specific unit, but I will look into it. Like for years back in the earliest days when we first started doing Long Honeymoon, we traveled with a tiny little inverter unit that would just plug into our cigarette lighter power outlet in the truck. And I know that you can get some more robust units now that hook up to your battery. We actually have a really nice system that we have yet to install that I'm thinking about installing in our truck that is a dedicated, it's like a 3,000 watt inverter. It's got a dedicated lithium battery bank. And it's just a question of making it fit in our truck. Like you can never have a big enough truck, I guess is one lesson I've learned.
What you're
sadly.
trying to say. So 2 captains, 1 ship. Thank you again for that super sticker. And we hope you guys are enjoying Myrtle Beach. That's one place we have never been in our RV is Myrtle Beach that I would like to go.
Yeah, we should go.
We need to put it on the list. This is Linda. Thank you
Oh,
very
thank
much
you,
for the
Linda.
super chat. We appreciate that so much.
Tip of my
That's
hat.
Very, very generous.
John was asking how
appreciate
old
it.
my hat is. This is the
old.
newer one, actually. This is the newish. This is the studio hat. This is the hat we keep here in
That's the nice one.
in the
It
luxurious
stays in-
lodge of Loloho National Forest. And I have another hat that's slightly more ratty.
Looks like it's been run over by a Mack truck a
But
few
of course,
times.
it's the one that I really prefer.
And there's Raymond Russell. Thank you, Raymond, very much for the very generous super chat.
Yeah,
And he's
Raymond, we
with the
will check
question that
out
we
the
just answered.
car generator inverter. Like I said, we have a really nice inverter that we could install in our truck or tow vehicle that we have not just yet. And in fact, I'm going to bring up, this is just an interesting topic I wanted to discuss because some people have asked us about Cybertruck and whether or not we're really going to get a Tesla Cybertruck. I have here our order, our pre-order for the Cybertruck, which we placed a long time ago.
Yeah, like
My
years
goodness.
ago.
My
Years
goodness.
ago.
Yeah. I think as soon as it was announced, we pre-ordered it.
Mm-hmm.
And, people are asking, are you really going to get a Cybertruck? Well, rumor has it they're going to start hitting the streets later this year, the first deliveries. And we are proud order number 493,686.
Woo.
So, wow, we got about 500,000 people in front of us, but I think they pre-sold 2 million Cybertrucks. So we're in the first 25. And I'm sure that in the last few years, a lot of people ahead of us in line have canceled. So my honest answer on Cybertruck is we will see when it hits the streets and when they start delivering the trucks and how long it's going to take them to deliver because they have a lot of pre-orders to go through.
I'm trying to scroll through here and see some other comments. Here, I'll let you take over.
All right. Kathy says, just returned from Western South Dakota. It was cool and rainy. Where are you going this summer? We plan to once again head west, which is
big shocker.
Surprise. So I'm sure we will return to Utah. We will go to Wyoming. We do have some reservations in some places in Wyoming that I know of. And
we're sort of debating whether or not we're going to go west to like California or if we're going to go north and then west.
On that note, we do hope to visit Vinny Lamica once again, Vinny's North Bay Airstream. And those of you in California and elsewhere should know that Vinny is expanding. Like he's moving to a new location. And
about 20 minutes from where he currently is, so not too far away.
So it's going to be a really massive expansion of Vinny's business, and they're going to be able to do panel repair on Airstreams and also, of course, the ceramic coating on Airstreams, and all under basically one roof. And they will offer RV storage.
Yeah, so that's a big thing for a lot of people, especially in Northern California. That's hard to find.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you're looking for sort of a one-stop solution, certainly if you have an Airstream travel trailer, check out Vinny's new location. And I believe they may have a grand opening coming up in August.
Yeah, I don't know the date of that.
Yeah, but we're gonna try to be out there for that. Stay tuned on that. Richard says, "Happy 4th of July."
Somebody mentioned they're getting a little bit of latency in their feed. So comment and let us know if you're getting it as well. So far, it's just one person. But
just so you know, we've had thunderstorms coming through this area in Loloho National Forest today.
And our power went off briefly earlier today. And we were like, oh, no.
It's always one of my fears. We're going to be live streaming and suddenly everything is just going to go dark. And it'll be at the end.
Oh, goodness.
So Johnny Lightning. Oh, the irony of lightning getting some latency.
Oh, no.
Let's see. George asks, has the Hollywood writer strike affected your video production? Yes, we've really had to scale back. Our writing staff has walked out on us. And my camera operator has been threatening to go on strike. So if I lose the camera operator here, We're going to go back to
I
just using a
promise I'm not
tripod.
going on strike anytime soon.
That's
Oh,
a funny
goodness.
thing about YouTube versus Hollywood that I think is just a little bit ironic that, YouTubers usually, and I say YouTuber, video creators, okay, whatever the online internet platform, have to kind of do it all. The shooting, the lighting, the editing, the writing. I mean, most people are one or two man bands, so to speak. Whereas Hollywood, if you ever look at the credits to any one of these shows, there will be dozens, maybe hundreds of people contributing to those shows.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of these funny guys on TV, they have staffs that are like,
I mean, like late night TV shows, like, Tonight Show type of stuff. They have like 30 writers.
yeah. I mean, and yes, the hosts are funny, but they also have 30 funny people writing material for them every day. And they
Yeah.
have freelancers pitching material at them too.
Yeah.
Whereas the independent video creator, let's break out the violin, has to do it all, So-
And sometimes that's where it can be overwhelming and where you sort of burn out a little bit, where you sort of are like, how do I come up with a new topic or whatever? Because it's literally just the two of us, bouncing ideas around, is that going to be funny? Is that going to be a good topic people are interested in? Is that going to be something people want to know? So always feel free to message us, give us topic ideas, ask us questions, because it does help us know what you guys want to see
Yep.
in the videos that we post. So,
Oh, John and Caroline Carnooch gave us a very generous super chat,
yes,
which we're
thank you
recognizing that.
guys.
So
Hopefully, we'll see you somewhere on the road
Yep.
this year.
We had a blast hanging out with you guys in Wyoming.
And Linda says
couple
she's in
years
Fishing
ago.
Bridge this summer.
Yeah, I wanted
That's
to mention this
exciting.
from Linda because I actually worked in Fishing Bridge a long time ago. I worked in the little store there, and
Tell them what you did.
it was one of my favorite jobs in Yellowstone. I was scooping ice cream, and back then,
That's why his right bicep is so big.
honestly, a lot of people threw out their arms scooping ice cream. I know it sounds ridiculous,
No,
but
it's hard.
if you have to scoop ice cream for 8 hours straight to a bunch of tourists on a constant basis, then there were guys doing that job who couldn't lift their arms and had to change. So I had to transfer out of the ice cream department. And I loved that job because I had my own little section of the store. Back then, the ice cream parlor was in this loft section of the Fishing Bridge store. And I could go up there and just have my own little area every day. And I used to scoop the most insanely large scoops of ice cream.
They were not making money off of the scoops that Sean was doing.
It's what you would call a loss leader. Like somebody would come up and order one scoop, and I would just pack on a scoop, like the size of a child's head, and hand it to them. And just the shocked look, especially from European tourists, was always hilarious. If it was an international tourist, I made sure just to give them this massive scoop of ice cream. Just
welcome to America.
Yeah, exactly. The reaction was always so funny.
Oh, goodness.
J&B says Ansel Adams must be rolling over in his grave. No photography in national parks is a government scam that will backfire.
Let's hope so.
That's sort of hilarious when you think about it. Ansel Adams he was a lawbreaker. like a lot of his photography. It's pretty funny.
Goodness.
Russell asked, have you ever been to Burning Man? We have
not,
but I would be interested in going.
I'd be interested in going, but man, the thought of all that sand in our RV makes me.
Well, see, I would like it because you don't have to pack too many clothes for Burning Man. You don't need a lot of clothes. You don't have to worry about doing laundry. So that is a bonus.
Yeah.
Starship Adventure says, love this channel.
Much.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
BC says, I'll be using my Champion remote start generator in a couple of weeks. Thanks for the video. Yeah, we still use our Champion remote start generator the most.
Yes.
It's our favorite. And it's like every year I always try different generators, but it sort of hits the sweet spot. We have the 3100 watt unit with remote start, and it fits under our tonneau cover. It powers everything we need to power, and it
has that remote start. That's really hard to beat.
And it's been pretty reliable over the years.
There's Carnage.
Yep. We're going to recognize some of these super chats. Thank you.
Carnage and Carolyn, John and Carolyn, we met them in Grovant Campground, I guess 2 years ago. And they're fellow Airstreamers, and we hit it off and had a great time. I'm getting to know them.
I love Caroline's pronunciation of water.
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 No,
Fresh water.
she makes fun of the way Americans say it, and we do say
Water.
it terribly. Water. It's very, very unappealing.
Laura asked, what about Seymour? Because I was talking about the Cybertruck. We're keeping Seymour, and I think when the Cybertruck comes out, if we're reasonably advanced in line, we'll probably get it just to try it. I'm honestly not convinced that an electric truck will work for our needs. Ironically, I think it will work for everything except what we need. Like, I think as far as doing all of your getting around town type of truck activities, it's probably going to be awesome and an incredible product. But as far as towing long distances, like across the country and back, I'm not convinced that the technology is quite there yet.
If anybody has any connections to Elon, please let us know. Pass our information along to him. We'd be happy to be test subjects for him.
Elon's probably out there watching right now. Masto J says, expanding generator question, ready to ditch gas. What do you feel an option will be available to run an air conditioner at a reasonable temperature during the night dry camping? Let's see. Ditch gas. You mean you want to go propane? Is that what you are saying? Hope to see you in Northern California. I would think in Northern California, much of the time you can get by without a generator because of those cool evenings.
We've been at Vinny's before when it's been over 100 degrees, so it does get uncomfortable there for sure. Yeah, you're not going to be able to do it, I don't think, reliably with with solar. I think that's what he's maybe asking about. I mean, solar will run your AC for a couple of hours.
But, there are generators now, and I know that Vinny's installing generators that are built into, for example, in the Airstream travel trailers that are powered from the propane lines of the trailer. And so you do have that benefit of not having to worry about carrying gasoline. A lot of people just don't like to deal with gasoline. I mean, gasoline is a fire/explosion risk and hazard. And so,
there's also
propane
the
is an
Champion
alternative.
3400 watt.
Yeah,
dual fuel.
you can always get a dual fuel.
Yeah, so that would give you the option to use propane.
And another issue, like the issue with running an air conditioning unit with an RV, is quite often starting the unit because they require a lot of electricity just to turn over those compressors of the air conditioning unit. So if you have a soft start installed on your RV air conditioner, sometimes you can get by with a smaller generator. And, you could carry a smaller propane unit maybe. A lot of times these generators typically produce a little less electricity off of propane than they would gasolina. So that is
Brent is offering us his spot on the Cybertruck
Oh, wow.
list.
That's actually an interesting offer. I wonder if that's possible. Shoot me a private message or shoot us a private message, Brent, because I think we're at number 490,000. So you must have ordered on day one.
Like the day.
Because
I'd be curious for you to tell us when you ordered. Like, was it the day they were announcing? Because we ordered just a few days after they announced, right?
Yeah, no, it's same day or maybe next day.
Maybe next
but they
day.
got like 1 million orders almost in the first couple of days. So Dave's Crazy Trailers says Happy Independence Day.
Happy 4th of July.
And Catherine B asked, what's your favorite place in Maine to stay in an RV? Now, it's been a while since we've been to Maine with our RV. We enjoy, I remember Bar Harbor.
Bar Harbor is really nice.
Because you've got easy access to Acadia National Park.
Yeah, on Mount Desert Island. That's really, really beautiful. There are several nice private RV parks there that you can stay at. There's a cute little campground we stayed at near Kennebunkport. I can't remember the name of it, but Kennebunkport's a cute town also. I think it's kind of hard to go wrong in Maine. There's so many quaint little towns, and you just drive up. Is it Highway 1 that goes all the way up to Maine from Key West? Yeah, if you just drive along Highway 1, you're going to find something beautiful. But yeah. Hi, Greg.
Greg says that Vinny and Cindy were at the big Airstream rally all week. They were mobbed.
I told
I'm sure they were.
Cindy, I said, now Vinny knows what it feels like to be a celebrity.
That's right.
Because I'm sure everybody there wanted to see him. And I'm so glad that he got to go and meet so many people.
Vinny is kind of a legend in the Airstream community.
He totally is.
The Airstream Whisperer.
He absolutely is.
Lyle asked, any chance of learning how you use and control your drum, which I think he means drone. That's Lyle and Edie in Monterey, California. I have a separate channel on the YouTube. It's called the Shawn Michael Simulation, and I've talked about drones on there before. I really sort of created the channel just to have a different creative outlet to do a lot of camera oriented
Like
stuff,
specific camera
camera
reviews and stuff
stuff,
like
and
that.
maybe tell some travel stories that don't always fit with long honeymoon, because we've done a lot of international travel over the years. I've had a lot of experiences that I would like to share, kind of document and share with the world that may not fit with RV travel. And so you might check out that channel. Just look for Shawn Michael Simulation, because I've done drone videos on there. And if there's really an interest on long honeymoon, I could do some drone how-to videos.
Yeah, just some basic
Yeah,
info.
the drone technology is really fantastic. It just gets a little bit better every year. Let's see. Dwayne says, greetings from British Columbia. I'm not even going to try and pronounce that. British Columbia is an amazingly beautiful place, at
Yes.
least in summertime. I mean, I would recommend anyone with an RV, if you have the time and the means.
Even if you're not going all the way to Alaska, just
Yeah,
British
British
Columbia is
stunningly beautiful. So many parts of it,
yes.
because we I guess been through it a couple of times, but especially coming back from Alaska, we went through it, and I would like to go back there and linger.
Mhm.
Really,
It's really beautiful. And a lot of it is sort of like untouched, has that very kind of just natural feeling to it. There's not interstates, there's not things like that running through a large portion of it. So you're really just kind of out
life and sad ending says you're good, no picture problems.
there.
Thank you. John wants a generator that runs on either gas or propane. There are a lot of those,
Yeah.
and Champion makes a lot of units, and we've reviewed a lot of those units.
Hmm.
Some troll was banned.
Yes,
That's
I banned
interesting.
him.
Dan Michaels said the stream looks great in Boise, Idaho.
Oh,
Oh, there's
yay.
Todd in Utah.
Hi, Todd.
We have a trip planned to Bear Lake in Utah next
Oh,
month.
nice.
I have a great longtime friend. Well, we have friends who live in
Salt Lake
Salt Lake
City.
City area, and I know I've interacted with you, Todd, many times before. And our friends always go to Bear Lake.
Yeah, they go there a lot.
They go there probably every year. Go to Bear Lake.
I think a couple times a year.
And Todd says it's the Caribbean of the Rockies. Or is it the Caribbean of the Rockies? With the blue water. So Bear Lake is a place that
It's
that
funny,
will be on our
we've
list.
driven past
I
it so
know.
many times, going back and forth from Salt Lake City to Jackson. So maybe one year we'll actually stop and make it there. Usually, I think we're a little too late in the season when we're driving through there, because I do think it's kind of like a mid-summer place to visit. But one day we'll make it.
Life and Sad Ending suspects we're using Google Bard for our videos. Nope. I don't know what it is, but now I'm going to look it up. Maybe I should be. Tom Morrow says trip this summer from Virginia to Montana to Arizona.
To OBX. Wow. You are going to have
8,000
quite the trip.
miles.
That's going to be amazing.
8,000-mile road trip. That's awesome. So, when we went to Alaska, that was our biggest road trip, obviously. And I think start to finish, it was like a 14,000-mile road trip.
Yeah.
Because it took us like 5,000 miles just to get to the border of Alaska. And then, of course, we ran around in Alaska for a few thousand miles, and then came down through California, came back.
And I think most people don't realize how big Alaska really is. And when you're in Alaska, they have a lot of shirts and like little posters and things like that have like the state of Alaska. And then to scale, they'll have the state of Texas inside the state of Alaska. And it's like so tiny. It's like maybe 1/8 the size of Alaska. So, driving around Alaska takes a lot of time because it's
bigger than you think.
A lot bigger than you think it is.
David M. asked an interesting question. Says, we're considering a second RV for quick short trips around our area. We like the idea of an older, small Airstream to renovate. Would you ever do a restoration on an old Airstream? When we first started thinking about getting into this lifestyle, we considered restoring a vintage Airstream. And I would simply advise, it sort of depends on you and your tolerance for renovation and restoration. If you're the type of person who's very handy and you love to dig into a project like that,
Mhm.
then I would cautiously say go for it. I've actually written a book called How to Buy an Airstream. Shout out to that book because you might want to look at that before you get into buying a vintage Airstream. You really need to be cautious about floor rot, subfloor rot,
Mhm.
because some of the vintage units, you have to make sure that water has not gotten into the subfloor and compromised subfloor, because those if that has happened, you may encounter some pretty heavy repairs,
Extreme
extreme
repairs.
repairs. So, if you find the right bones and the right unit to
Mhm.
restore, and you're the type of person who can dig in and sort of do that type of work yourself, then I would say conditionally go for it. But check out my book first. I mean, and I'm plugging the book. The book is cheap. I don't know what I charge for it, but I've had people tell me that that book saved them $15,000 to $20,000 on an Airstream purchase.
Mhm.
And of course, I charge like $3 for it or whatever. So
It's on,
I basically give it
Amazon.
away. But so because I think if you get online, you will find a lot of half completed renovations and restorations of
That are for
people
sale.
who got into it and then they sort of realized they had bitten off more than they could chew, and they end up selling it half completed. So, just bear that in mind, that that's a possibility if you're not that type of person who wants to undertake such a task.
Well, the camper couple said they were just in Alabama recently, and we have
So you
awesome
go,
stuff in our home state.
well, you're singing my wife's song right now. I mean, Alabama does have a lot to offer. Alabama has some Gulf Coast beachfront. It's got
Mhm.
some, small mountains. It's got a lot of lakes. It's got, a lot of thick forests.
We have a lot of
Um,
caverns here, which people probably don't know
yeah,
about.
yeah. So,
We
uh,
really should do a video highlighting a lot of the things in Alabama, but we kind of overlook it because it's in our own backyard, and I think most people overlook what's in their own backyard. So
yeah, I tell the story every time, but I have a dear friend who's Italian, grew up in Rome, Italy. In the first 20 years of her life, she never set foot in the Colosseum in Rome, which is almost like a wonder of the earth. That it's still standing
this is
after
a
that after
global
millennium.
destination for people.
And because she grew up driving past it every day, she wasn't really that interested in it. She went, so
Oh, okay, there's the Coliseum.
she eventually went though. Let's see. We've had a couple of questions. I know that Larry and Barbie commented earlier, and Darren also asked this question about LT tires on our trailer, the light truck tires, and are we sold on them over traditional trailer tires? The answer is yes and
Mhm.
yes. And we have done more than one video about switching our trailer tires to light truck tires, and it was considered a little bit controversial when this first started happening. But the dirty truth is, in trailer tires are crapola.
Yeah.
I mean, trailer tires, we had a lot of problems with trailer tires
Mhm.
blowing out. and
Dangerous problems,
and when we switch to the light truck tires, and I know that there are some people in the industry that feel that the LT tires are just simply built to a higher standard, that
Mhm.
they must meet more stringent regulations on the construction of the tire. They just you don't have problems with them. We haven't had. I mean, I'm gonna knock on some wood.
Yeah.
We haven't had a single tire issue since we switched to LT tires.
Yeah.
So I would, definitely encourage people to make that change without hesitation, really.
Airstream now offers them on their classic
Yeah,
models,
Airstream
which is
offers it
their
from the factory.
heaviest, longest, most expensive
You see, when
trailer.
we first put LT tires on our trailer, some people said, "What you're doing is risky. Maybe it's considered illegal." I'm like, "Well, Airstream is doing it at the factory now, and in
Mhm.
fact, that is the top of the line, like on their classic trailers. That's what you would get. If you get the best that they offer, you will get the LT tires on your trailer, and so that's an acknowledgement from Airstream, the factory itself,
Yes.
that those are the best that you can get. So, if I would say, any of you out there contemplating that change, I would encourage you to make it, because I think you'll have a generally more enjoyable ownership experience. Let's see. John Mason Smith said you should far your riders. That's Southern for fire. You should farm. I agree, John.
Thanks, John, for that suggestion.
Thanks for that encouragement and or insult. I'm gonna fire our riders. Let's see. Doug asks, what do we use for a drone and is there licensing required? These days I recommend you get the small little DJI Mini 3, and we have a Mini 3 Pro. And I've got a bunch of other drones that are bigger and heavier, but those small drones don't really require any kind of license because they weigh less than 249 grams. They pack up really small and light. You can take them anywhere in the world, just
And
about.
honestly, they perform. Their footage
It's
you
fantastic.
can't really tell the difference between that and the larger ones. So
Let's see. Rhonda says, thanks for your generator wisdom. I've looked at your Amazon store for weather radio. Any recommendations? We should have a weather radio in our
I
Amazon
think it's under
store.
like our safety tab on our Amazon storefront.
And-
And there are a couple options listed there.
We do have them listed and we carry one with us. And, of course you can get apps, but it's always nice to have a real physical radio and they're
Mhm.
pretty cheap. So
They're
it's
like
worth
$30,
yeah.
I think. So they're not very expensive.
because we've certainly been in places where we don't get good cell service, and I don't know about requiring or relying on an app,
Mhm.
in that situation. So I would say get a dedicated weather radio. I think ours is made by Midland. And those of you who are concerned about severe weather when you're traveling with your RV, we have an excellent video on our channel where we interviewed James Spann. And James Spann is a legendary meteorologist in our area. He's known as probably the most trusted man in our state. And he's certainly saved many thousands of lives over the year with his advice and warnings about severe weather. We had a great interview with James Spann about severe weather and RV travel. So I would encourage you to check that out.
Yeah,
And
he gave a lot of really good information. And, he's definitely the expert when it comes to severe weather. So we got our info from the best.
so that's on our channel. And again, I think if you get in there and really dig into our channel, we have done more than 500 videos, and a lot of these videos have very extensively covered a lot of these topics.
Mhm.
And we'll probably be producing certainly additional videos readdressing some of these topics. But if you're new to our channel, a lot of the content is evergreen. And so just because a video might be 2 years old, that doesn't mean
Or 10 years
or
old.
10 years old. Yeah, it could still be relevant information to you.
Mhm.
And that's been the idea in creating these videos over the years. So just dig in there, put it on autoplay, and we do have some playlists set up. You could go in and just watch the playlist or just
Mhm.
put it on autoplay and let it just play one after another. You'll find, I think, a lot of good quality content that'll help you in your RV travels. We've had people tell us that our videos probably saved them literally years in preparation for the adventures. So, you can get in there and you can learn from us, learn from a lot of our mistakes. We made a lot of mistakes that we've documented over the years,
Mhm.
and but we share them with you. So hopefully you don't make the same mistakes. So let's see. Dragon says, happy camping. Love you too. Thank you, Dragon.
Oh, thanks, Dragon.
James, let's see, is going down the Columbia River, the Gorge. We've camped around there. We have some good
Mhm.
friends in Oregon. And I'm trying to think. I know we camped on the Columbia River a few years ago.
Yeah.
So
We
definitely
haven't
beautiful there this
spent
time
a
of year.
lot of time there, though.
Yeah.
We need to go back. I would like to go to Bend, Oregon. We've never been to Bend. It's one popular RV destination that we've never seen.
Here is an interesting comment from Majid. It says, better eating and be more active. Use your influence against the diabetes pandemic. Here you are the idea.
All right.
Diabetes. Diabetes is a serious issue.
It's not
So-
the comment I was expecting.
Actually, as I've gotten older, I've gotten more active in certainly in going to the gym. Now, I still have a lot of probably poor eating habits. Don't deny that. plenty of fried food in my diet, but I do a lot of exercise. And I think it's a valid point that Majid makes. And you can see Majid is on a bicycle there.
Oh, it looks
Setting
like
a
he
good
is maybe.
example. Meanwhile, Jerry Deb says yummy ice cream.
All right. I
So
like the way Jerry Deb thinks.
Majid versus a lot of people are focused on ice cream. People like Kevin Thomas, who says, have you had the Thomas Jefferson ice cream at Rushmore?
We have not. We've been to Rushmore a couple of times. Have not had the Thomas Jefferson ice cream.
That's
We
interesting.
missed that.
We'll have to go back for the Thomas Jefferson ice cream. That's a good question. Let's see. All right, we're closing up on an hour. Let's see.
And I know we
P.
haven't gotten to all the comments. We're responding to as many as we possibly can.
Yeah. Now, on the national parks issue, Larry P is saying photography is allowed, videos are not.
Yeah.
You know, videos are simply photography in, certain frames per second.
Yeah.
Like I have a camera now that shoots 20 frames per second photography. Traditional filmmaking has been at 24 frames per second.
Could make a video from
You
your
could.
photos.
It's so ridiculous. And
just feel like a silent film.
I will guarantee you, everybody that goes to a national park, they're carrying a video camera with them in their pocket. Everybody. And basically everybody is shooting video.
And they're posting it online.
Yep. Everybody. So, I mean, people sometimes if we do product reviews, they'll be like, why are you doing product reviews and not doing videos about the national parks? Well, the national parks have told us they don't want us to do videos about them. And the companies who are making products, they say, yes, please do videos about our products. So, I mean, put yourselves in our shoes for a minute.
Yeah. It definitely just makes it more difficult for us.
It's insanity. Mr. Roboto asked, what's your favorite boondocking spot? It's hard to pick just one favorite.
Because there's so many different landscapes that you can boondock in. I mean, we had some really beautiful ones when we were in Alaska, literally that were just on the side of the highway.
Alaska is like one giant national park. I mean, everywhere you look, you see just a raw, rugged, natural landscape. You see mountains, snow-capped mountain peaks, and that sort of thing. So, but also, I love Utah and the boondocking in Utah. And there's a lot of it, like it's plentiful. And so I would say some of those spots around there. I mean, another famous one is the Nomad Point in South Dakota. It's kind of cool. It's right on the edge of Badlands.
You got to be careful of the winds there, though. But yeah, there are so many beautiful, boondocking spots out west.
Yeah,
it's hard to beat.
Oh, there's Anna Sullivan.
Hi, Anna.
Just can't wait to see you both. Good to see you, Anna.
Anna's a good friend of ours in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. And
somebody asked, how about a bear mauling story? Now we did a video a few months ago about bear spray, and I have a whole new respect for bear spray after doing that video, because it's really nasty stuff. I mean, even
you don't say.
Spraying the bear spray away from me,
no wind, I was still choked up for the next 20 to 30 minutes in terms of I could still feel that spray just from the tiny little bit of exposure that I had to that bear spray. Yeah.
So if you have any questions about bear spray, I don't. Like, after using it that time, I think bear spray would be effective disabling pretty much any mammal. I mean, certainly any bear, but also
thief.
Yeah, I mean, really, we just did a video about violent crime because we get so many questions about crime and RV travel, and people are worried about that. So we finally did a video about it. And some people have talked about pepper spray and bear spray. And we may do a future video just showing some other sort of self-defense type of tools that you might carry other than the lethal stuff.
Go to Sarah G. at the top.
Sarah G says, your videos helped us get started 5 years ago. Utility blocks, surge protector, and so much more. Thank you, and God bless America. Thank you, Sarah.
Happy to have been helpful to you.
Appreciate that. Liana says, love you guys. We share the same anniversary. 51 years for us.
51 years. That's
amazing. How
amazing.
many for you, and how did you meet? Oh, we were married in 2007, but
this is correct.
We dated for a while before that. So I don't know if you can get credit for all that time together before we got married.
He's acting like it's this prison sentence.
No, I'm just saying.
We dated for 5.5 years before we got married.
So I mean, we've been married for 16 years, but we've been together for more than 20.
Yeah.
So that should count for something.
And we just met through a mutual friend.
Catherine says electric trucks are for city people. I think there's a
probably
lot of
true.
truth to that, actually. If you're traveling small distances and doing jobs, in the city or in an urban area, especially where you can easily recharge the truck
Yeah.
whenever you need it, and it might make sense.
And when you're not going long distances, you're going to get stuck in interstate traffic, that sort of thing.
I'm gonna give a shout out to Richie. Richie and Raquel, we met in Grand Teton, in Grovon a couple of years ago.
On Raquel's birthday.
And we visited with them in Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
They actually have a fascinating backstory, and we're going to do a video about that at some point in the future.
We filmed some footage there with them in Las Vegas.
Richie has a trapeze school in Las Vegas. So if you have ever dreamt of getting on a trapeze,
you should do it.
Then you need to look up Richie's school. And Christy did it.
I was terrible at it, but I did it.
It looks really challenging. It's
terrifying. And I'm somebody that heights don't typically bother me. Once you climb to the top and you're like hanging off that little platform, you have to reach out to grab the bar, which weighs a lot, by the way. I think it weighs like 10 pounds. And you're holding onto it and you're looking down, you see the net. An adrenaline rush for sure.
But Richie, he and his wife are a great example of just the fascinating people who are out there in our audience, because they've had really a long history in the entertainment business, not only, originally with traveling circuses and so forth, performing in front of crowds around the world, but also Richie has been a stuntman, Hollywood stuntman, has been in a lot of really big movies.
Pretty much any big action blockbuster movie that you can think of, Richie's probably been.
He's coordinated a lot of stunts, and he's actually performed the stunts on camera, and a lot of great stuff. So at some point, we have to tell that story, Richie's story and Raquel's story as well. Let's see.
Oh, there's David Ragsdale.
David Ragsdale.
Hey, David Ragsdale. How are you?
David Ragsdale. Do you know where Barbara Ragsdale is right now?
So David Ragsdale is a friend of ours. He's a family member of one of Sean's best friends, and he lives in Steamboat, Colorado. And we've been there to visit him before, and we definitely do need to come back because it's beautiful there.
And David asks, if you haven't tested the Bluetti AC 200 Max, take a look. I'm thinking about getting rid of my generator. I would say I will check out that specific unit. And what David's talking about is what we would call a lithium power station, where you have kind of a power station with an inverter. And for many purposes, it will substitute for a generator, but probably not for running an air conditioner.
Yes.
And so keep that in mind. Last year, actually, we did suffer a problem with our trailer, which our electrical system in our trailer was having significant problems. But we had these items like the Bluetti, the power stations, we were able to tap into. They
saved us.
They were kind of a lifesaver. But as far as a substitute for a generator, it's asking a lot right now of a solar. If you need air conditioning, then solar is just not there yet, unless you have just a massive battery bank. And we have met a few people over the years who've invested tens of thousands of dollars in lithium batteries in, for example, a fifth wheel that has the storage space to do it. Then you might be able to pull it off. But for those of us, I know David is a fellow Airstreamer, I believe, and those of us with smaller RV units, then we don't have the storage capacity to put all those batteries.
But with him, he's probably, David, you're probably doing a lot of your camping in that northern Colorado, Wyoming area, where you don't necessarily need an air conditioner. So it probably will actually work just fine for you.
Actually, David, now I want to go back to Steamboat. I would love to go back, and we'll get together again. We
stayed at a really nice national forest campground there.
Yeah, I loved that spot. It's probably been 5 or 6 years since we were there. Maybe longer than that. I'll tell you a funny story about that. We were staying in this national forest campground, And when we were leaving the campground, that was a national forest area, you're
And
free
this
to,
was like 8 years ago.
yeah. And so I was flying our drone just sort of like as we were leaving the area just to get kind of the usual drone footage that we typically get. And I looked back in the rearview mirrors, we're like pulling out, it's almost getting to the highway. And I saw this guy on a motorcycle and he
It's
was
like,
like racing to
yeah,
get us.
like,
And I was like, oh, and then I realized it was the campground host.
host.
And anyway, so he flagged us down and he was like, "Hey, is that your drone? Are you flying that drone?" I was like, yeah, I am. And I thought it would be fine because in this area we're
We were
free to
in
fly them.
national
And
forest,
he's
so
like,
not a
"Ah, it's no
national park.
problem. I just wanted to see it because I'd never seen one myself." And so I let him use the controller and showed him how to use it and fly it and everything. And he thought it was really fascinating and cool. And so he had no problem with it.
He just wanted to
He just
see
wanted
it.
to check it out.
Chased us down.
So I don't know, with drones, you never know.
Oh,
Let's
wow.
see.
Look at this.
This is wait, Dave's crazy trailer asks any new Hallmark cards in your future.
Oh. You have a history
Yeah,
of working with Hallmark.
I was on a
Interesting
series
fact.
of Hallmark cards.
Yeah.
Is that what you're asking about, Dave? I wonder. Those of you if you've really watched our catalog of videos, several years ago, I did a video talking about some of my previous career before Long Long Honeymoon. And at one point, I was in a line of Hallmark cards. That is a weird thing to have on your resume, but that is funny.
We have a few upstairs in your office.
Yeah, I still have a stack of them somewhere. But
Dee says that she is on her way to Alaska. Right there.
Dee left Texas in June.
Oh, wow. You're in Dawson Creek, milepost 0. Wow.
Yep.
Well, you have a lot of wonderful adventures ahead of you because the Alaska Highway is such a beautiful drive. The scenery is just amazing. The wildlife is cool.
That's how you beat the Texas heat, too.
Yeah, for sure.
And I really enjoyed the longer days when you're
because it's daylight till like 11 o'clock at night. It's awesome, especially because I'm a night owl. I don't like early mornings, so
the weather,
daylight till midnight is perfect for me.
The weather's cool and pleasant, and you've still got daylight at like 10:30 and 11 at night.
Yeah, it's great,
really pretty fun. So,
all
right, we've gone more than an hour here. I want to give some shout outs.
Hi, Acme Racing.
Acme Racing, it's good to see you. Says I bought a rotted out RVision trail light and had to replace 2/3 of the floor. I had a bunch of buyer's regret, but learned a lot, and I was stubborn enough to save it.
Oh, wow. Good
this
for
goes
you.
to the previous discussion about restoring a vintage trailer. And I'm sure that Acme Racing could tell us it's a lot of work. And so before you tackle a project like that, you just need to know that you're the type of person who can see it through and who can overcome obstacles and adversity, because you can bet that you're going to have it. Maybe it takes a certain type of personality.
I think you have to be a fix-it kind of person, because otherwise you're going to pour a lot of money into it.
So, I am attempting to replace the fuel lines on a almost 40-year-old car this week. That's my little garage project, and it's a fairly simple job, but I'm worried about it. I'm nervous because there's gasoline involved, and the old fuel lines on this vehicle were leaking gasoline, which is terrifying. And so I've got some nice new fuel lines, but tomorrow probably I'm going to be cutting the old fuel lines. That just makes me nervous because I'm not always that type of person to do that kind of work.
Somebody asked if we met in the Army. Are we lifers? We did not meet in the Army. Neither one of us have been in the military. You might be thinking of our family. We had Sean's sister was in the Navy and her husband is in the Army. And they look
He was National Guard.
He was National Guard, but also Army. But they look a lot like us. So sometimes when we post pictures of them on like Veterans Day or that sort of thing, I think people think it's us in those pictures.
Yeah, I don't deserve that credit. Like John's
a
Purple Heart veteran. In fact, today is John's birthday.
Yes,
so
happy birthday, John, if you're watching.
Mark asked if there's any meetups this year. Love listening to you guys.
Well, thank you, Mark.
We are certainly open to having a meetup or two. We really need to have one in the Salt Lake City area because I think we have a lot of followers there. We've had them previously in Grand Teton National Park in that
Yeah.
area. So we would like to do it if people show up.
Yeah, comment and let us know if you're interested in that and where you live. And that sort of helps us decide where we would go.
Silver Agnes says, Sean, you've been silent on the bone tool post pandemic. Has it been that long since I talked about the bone tool? Now, I don't have a bone tool with me, but I do have my Hutzler banana slicer. You know, I don't
Do you
travel.
have your Loloho banana sticker?
There you go. Banana sticker, banana slicer, and what Silver Agnes is referencing is this little tool called the bone tool. I recently just purchased another bone tool, and it's basically a little piece of plastic that's an invaluable piece of plastic.
It really is,
because you can scrape stuff,
all sorts of things.
Do all sorts of things with it. It's sort of an alternative to using a screwdriver, which would be metal and would hurt the surface of anything you're scraping. You can safely scrape your RV, and you can use it to pry open sometimes things that you're working on. I don't know. So maybe we will talk more about the bone tool. Chad asked if we're still riding our electric bikes. We still have our electric bikes, and we haven't ridden them recently, but I still like the electric bike.
They're great bikes.
Yeah.
Our problem is we don't really have a spot to store them to take them with us because our Airstream is small. We can't mount them on the rear of the Airstream because they weigh too much. We don't have room in the bed of our truck. Really, to take them with us, we would have to put a camper shell on the back of our truck, and we just haven't been willing to do that. But they're great bikes.
Someday we're just going to have to cave in and get the camper shell on the back of our truck, and then we'll have so much more storage space. But
yeah.
I want to give a shout out to Peter and Sabrina. It's always good to see you guys. We met these guys a few years ago in Wyoming.
Yes.
And
fellow Airstreamers.
I always remember they came to one of our meetups that we had there.
Yeah.
And Peter specifically said that our videos were really helpful to them getting started on their journey and their adventures. And they say they just left the Rock Springs Airstream Rally, and they're continuing their journey up the West Coast.
Nice.
Back in Jackson this fall. Maybe we'll see you there. Yep.
Maybe
Jackson Hole.
Will.
I think probably so. Maybe we should touch base, and we will let you know when we're going to be there.
Yeah.
We'll probably make some kind of announcement publicly, of course, when we've got all that stuff nailed down. Yeah, a little closer to launch time.
Oh, thanks, Michael. What a nice comment. He says, it feels like seeing old friends.
Yep.
Thank you, Michael. We appreciate that.
Yeah, it's really interesting about doing Long Long Honeymoon for this many years. I mean, you saw, if you're watching the stream earlier, we had our first follower, and we're talking from like 2007-ish. He's still watching our live stream, so that's super cool. I do think that we've made so many friends through doing this channel. You know, some of those friendships we've been able to nurture in person when we meet you when we're passing around through your area in the country, and the other friendships, you know, maybe we haven't met physically yet, but we've gotten to know each other.
There are so many people that I see in our comments that I've gone back and forth with over the years that I feel like I know them, even though I've never met them in person. And so that's always a nice feeling when you feel like you have friends out there. You know, I don't think of subscribers as subscribers. I think of them as friends.
Right.
You know, that share a common interest with us. So
Larry asks if the truck campers are top heavy during windstorms. If you've heard anything about them, I would think that I would think that some of them are. We've seen some pretty big truck campers that are nice, and I think they're really impressive. I think they're actually really
cool.
But we've been in some places like in South Dakota when you're camping, when you're exposed to a lot of wind, or in Utah at Goosenecks.
Yeah, the wind we had there was insane.
I mean, we were kind of nervous, you know, even in our trailer.
We were hitched to our truck.
Yeah, but we stayed hitched. If we'd been unhitched, I would have been even more concerned.
I mean,
the
we
thing was
were
going to flip over.
You know, rocking all night long.
So I would think during a windstorm, it could be kind of top heavy. David says, hi, Sean and Christy. Any recommendations for boondocking near Flaming Gorge, northern Utah, and any updates on your ceramic coating? Well, first, with regard to Flaming Gorge, we went through Flaming Gorge a couple of years ago, and we actually stayed
in a campground.
Yeah, like a national forest campground.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
Yeah.
We had a great view from it.
Now, I do recall there being boondocking areas near that campground as you're kind of going into Flaming Gorge. Flaming Gorge is pretty
It's
awesome
really
destination.
beautiful.
Yeah, really beautiful.
And I
So,
think it's a place that doesn't really get a lot of attention.
like, I
Um,
think you'll really enjoy it. Yeah, it's kind of under the radar a little
mm,
bit.
it's hard to get to. I mean, it's
Yeah.
not off of a major interstate. You got to make some effort to get there for sure. So, but you'll enjoy it. It's a beautiful place. And I'm
And
sorry I'm not giving you recommendations
I
for
would say,
boondocking.
I mean, honestly, I would say look on Campendium
Yeah,
because, like, you'll
absolutely.
probably have recent reviews from people who've been camping in the area. But, first off, go to campendium.com and type in Flaming Gorge and
Yeah.
see what comes back to you.
And if
And
you join Campendium, like pay for a membership, you can get in there and read like really detailed reviews and see photos that people have posted. That's super helpful because you can sort of get an idea if it's something that your particular rig will fit into or not. Um, Especially if you have a bigger rig or you're not four-wheel drive or whatever. So it's really helpful.
Chris says, God bless you guys for weathering your precious losses and continuing your work. Hashtag mama and baby girl.
Thank you, Chris.
Yeah. Those of you who follow our channel know that the last year has not been the happiest of
It's been
times.
hard.
It's been a hard, pretty rough, to be honest. But
So our dog baby girl passed away last May, and then in October my mom passed away in an accident. So both two losses that we had no warning for, and it's been hard to get through. But we're doing our best.
it's kind of like it was a lot of sadness to digest in a short period of time. But
Yeah.
life goes on. We push forward. Thank you for noticing, Chris. C Sykes says the weather video is outstanding. Like all your videos, you made RVing so much smoother.
Oh, thank you so
for the
much.
super
And
chat.
thank you for being a channel member. We appreciate that a lot.
Yep. Thank you so much. We really appreciate the super chat and your kind comments. Again, I was really proud of that weather video because honestly, if you're from this part of the country, you probably know James Spann, and James Spann has a huge social media following
He
from
has a
people all over.
crazy social media following. So it's really funny because when we told people we know here, like, oh, we're interviewing James Spann, people were like, what? You're interviewing James Spann? That's so awesome. So he's like a weather celebrity for sure.
Oh, and I neglected to answer the second part of David's question about
Oh, yeah.
the ceramic coating. We love our ceramic coating, and I'm sold on the ceramic technology. And
It
once
just
you've
makes
had
maintenance so
yeah,
much easier.
it's really mostly from a maintenance and cleanliness standpoint. It makes cleanup so much easier. So
no more waxing, no more,
yeah,
things like that, which are just so tedious.
so I'm a huge fan of it, and I've really have gotten ceramic on all of our vehicles. I have a couple of old cars that I've got ceramic on that, and it just really makes them look
Huge
great. It makes a
difference.
huge difference in the way they appear and also in the cleanup. That's interesting. Johnny says, when you were younger, you were not as pretty as you are now.
Oh, well, that's nice of you to say. I hope that's an improvement.
I think it is. It's a compliment.
Thanks, Johnny. I think
Meanwhile,
maybe
Sean-
earlier he was saying something about watching old videos.
Oh yeah, because I think we were talking about the video catalog. Jim asks, he says, greetings from Mississippi. How many miles on Seymour, and how is the bulletproofing held up? Seymour has
210,
210,
209,
209.
209,000, I think,
So
and change. So he's still trucking along. Our bulletproofing is holding up.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had to have a couple of service appointments, but nothing major.
No, I mean, in recent years, nothing related to the bulletproofing has been an issue. It's time to change the oil in our truck. And if you do bulletproof your 6-liter diesel, like we actually have 2 oil filters now, it kind of makes an oil change much more of an event. It's kind of a bigger deal. I mean, one thing I would say about the bulletproofing, when you take it to a shop to do the oil change, sometimes they haven't seen one of these systems. And so you have to explain it to the mechanics.
Yeah.
And so I'm not always sure that they understand, because we have a bypass oil filter, we have a regular oil filter.
So there's 2 oil filters in 2 different locations. So you kind of have to show them.
And we have a much larger oil reservoir now because we have the air to liquid oil cooler. And so I think ours takes, this is off the top of my head, but 17 quarts of oil or something like that. It's a lot more than usual. Anyway, overall, it's been good. Been a good thing to do. Let's see. KO says the Goodyear Endurance tire was supposed to be one of the best. That's a trailer tire. I think Goodyear has improved their trailer tires. The old Goodyear Marathon was bad. not good. Chuck says we were at Buddy Bear.
Previously Duval and the Smokies.
Duval and Smokies, they have a low site. They speak Hollywood. That's awesome. Yeah, in Duval and the Smokies is a campground. If you're ever going to the Smoky Mountains National Park, and it's not in the national park, but it's in that area,
general
Pigeon
area,
Forge.
and it's kind of in a more remote area. It's not like on that main drag where there's just so much stuff. So
there's a little river running.
There's a little river next to it, so it feels a little more camping.
But they set up a Low site
where we stayed, so they renamed it the Low site.
And that was a super sweet
thing. Very sweet of them to do that. We've never had anybody else do that, so shout out to them for doing it. We appreciate it. We actually hear from a lot of people that stay in it, so that's kind of fun.
Oh, wow. Here's an interesting super chat. Carlos says hello from Guatemala.
Hi, Carlos.
Every 4th de Julio.
We've actually been
to Guatemala.
It's very
more
beautiful.
Than once.
Yeah, we've been twice.
Yeah, there's a town in Guatemala, Antigua, Guatemala, which was an old capital. And it's a beautiful little town.
Yep.
And very charming. And it's surrounded by, I believe, 3 volcanoes. And so that frame the town. So Guatemala is a really beautiful country.
It's a beautiful countryside. The people were so nice. We really enjoyed our time in Guatemala.
Let's see. Martin asked some tips to find your videos like North Cascades or Olympic. Sadly, we do not have videos on those parks. However, Martin asks an excellent question. If you go to our channel, main page, there will be a little search icon, like an eyeglass type icon. And you click that and you can actually search the channel. So you could just search for videos in the channel.
Yep.
And of course you could do that in the main YouTube search as well, but you can search the channel itself. Let's see. Karen asked, have you heard about the overcrowding in Yellowstone and possibly shutting down? I've not heard about Yellowstone shutting down. I think overcrowding that's a
regular problem.
It's been going on a long time. David says he knows where Barbara is. So, all right. Lisa, thanks for your feedback about getting a site at Grovant. We looked out and have an electric site reserved in September. It's styling.
Oh.
All right. Well, we're probably going to wrap up pretty soon. Let's see. I asked if we could do a YouTube collaboration with another RV channel. Who would we do?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Maybe Technomadia.
Yeah.
Because they've been doing it about as long as we have.
Yeah, so they're kind of old school like we are, and they have a lot of really technical information that we probably are not as good at as they are. So I feel like we would be a good mix of travel and technological info,
I feel like we were doing video in the early days when most people were not doing video and RV video. So we should meet them someday.
Oh, thanks, Quincy.
There's Quincy. So I'm honored to call you my friends. Thank you, Quincy. Good to hear from you.
You and Lena are
Todd said he would love to see us near Salt Lake City. Maybe we'll do that meetup.
We'll
Todd.
try to do it.
Dave Kawa, who we met in
we
met in Wyoming a couple years ago. 12,000 miles so far on their Alaska trip.
Wow. You guys are having a great trip. That's awesome.
So
a lot of people are saying they would like a meetup.
Sorry, guys. I think we're probably going to wrap up because we've been going for almost 90 minutes.
Wow.
We thank all of you for tuning in, not only tonight, but sticking with us over the years. Because, as I've said, we've been doing Long Honeymoon a long, long time. And, a funny thing, when you've created more than 500 videos, and this has honestly happened quite a lot. I'll think to myself, we should do a video about this topic. And then I'll start working on the video, and then I'll go look at our channel and I'll realize we did that video. We did that video in 2018, or we did that video in 2021, or we did that video in 2014, or whatever. So we do have a pretty deep library of content.
And some of those videos, I think we could still do new videos and sort of update.
We could do new videos, but I guess again, my point is if you're new to our channel, you can dig in there, and I think there's some good quality content that we're going to try to do a better job of bringing to the surface.
Go to the archives.
There's Larry and
Oh, Larry
Barbie's
and Barbie.
comment. We're sort of tapping into some comments
That we sort of missed
that
back
we
at the
missed
beginning.
earlier, but we gave them a shout out earlier.
Yeah,
too.
like we said, there's so many comments that come through. It's hard to pause it and read a comment and then get back to where you were previously.
Yeah.
So
There's Bobby Jenkins and
Oh,
Gus
yeah.
Nard going to Fort Wilderness
oh, that'll be
in
nice.
August. Yep. Yeah. Christy loves Fort Wilderness.
It's a great campground. It's really beautiful. So have fun.
So, all right.
Oh yeah. Technomadia. Shout out.
Rick asks, is the studio in Alabama? No, Rick, this is actually in a place called Loloho National Forest, a magical place. And you should see the lodge here. It is beautiful. In fact, the lodge in Loloho National Forest, many say, inspired the architects at Yellowstone when they were doing Old Faithful Inn. So one of these days, we will do a complete walkthrough tour.
Oh,
Let's see.
goodness.
Michael says pretty hard to find new content.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like, what have we not talked about?
Yeah.
But
sometimes we struggle.
ironically, we still do come up with some things. I mean, like,
And there's still places we haven't been in the RV. Like,
yeah.
There are a lot of places we haven't
There's
been in the
certainly
RV.
always new places to visit. And there are some topics, like, those of you, if you haven't watched the most recent discussion about crime and RV travel, I know that's an odd topic. And so it's kind of got a negative connotation, obviously. So I waited a long time to make that video because I was like, there's probably happier topics to talk about. However,
but it's an important topic.
It's an important topic. A lot of people have asked, the question over the years, and I'm actually very pleased with the video. I was very proud of the video. And so if you haven't watched that video, it's been pretty popular and doing pretty well. And we've gotten some really good feedback from even law enforcement veterans, like people who have served on police forces around the country have said, you guys did a good job addressing this topic. So check it out.
There are two comments I want to highlight.
Okay.
Radar, New Jersey.
Radar, New Jersey.
Thank you very much.
For all the work.
Maybe the
Nothing
NJ
but
does
quality.
not stand for New Jersey. Maybe it's just your initials.
Radar
But
NJ.
Thank you very much. We appreciate that. The next comment is from Vince.
Vince, Vince. Solo stove 1 year later. Well, I'll do a follow up on the solo stove. I mean, we still enjoy the solo stove.
We travel with it still. Yeah.
We actually did a video about the sort of a competitor to solo stove, which is just a less expensive.
It packs down smaller. So if you're somebody that
smaller,
you're tight on space, it would be a good option.
I still think the solo stove is built to a higher quality standard, but
definitely.
they're both made of aluminum. So, and if you wanted to save a little money and have a smaller unit, but no real complaints with the solo stove.
But I was going to tell people, Vince is someone that you've seen in a Long Honeymoon video.
That's right.
And he was a very important person that we met last year.
Speaking of people who are handy and good with tools, because Vince really helped us when we were having our axle problem. And we're really, really fortunate that our wheel didn't fall off on our trip last year, because our axle was shipped missing an important component known as the keeper, which would have basically kept the wheel from flying off in transit. So,
but Vince helped us discover that, and we're very grateful for his help. And he has the cutest little dog that travels with him named Duke. And he was in our video too.
Yeah, Linda says that was a great video. Yeah, that was a fun video.
Yeah, it really was.
Yeah, Larry says stories from the road are always the best. I agree with that.
Yeah.
And I will say those videos, honestly, they're harder to make. I mean, it's hard content to make, even though it might look easy. That kind of storytelling, if you really look at how many shots are involved,
the editing for Sean is just,
it's a lot. It's very mentally taxing, but I'm proud of the work later, I mean, but again, like if you look at most TV shows, look at the credits and how many people are typically involved in the production of a show.
Writing, filming, and editing.
Yeah, I mean, all the writers, all the different cinematographers, camera operators, the lighting people, all this stuff. And I'm just saying, like, if you're really trying to put together I mean, even Anthony Bourdain or some of the travel shows. Look at how many people they would travel with a crew, obviously,
Yeah, he had a crew of like
and
6 or 7 guys
we
that
don't
went
have
with
any of
him.
that stuff. So that's why like those travel videos are there are a lot of heavy lifting, and frankly, it's easier to do podcast style videos. And that's why there are a lot of podcasts in the world.
Mhm.
There are a lot of videos where people have a camera on a tripod and they're talking to it. There aren't as many videos that are storytelling.
Mhm.
But I appreciate those of you who appreciate them. So thank you for your comment.
And Michael, down at the bottom, is
Yeah.
currently
Oh, cool.
in Grovant.
KO says, I'm the guy who put the card on your truck. I broke down
Oh
for 2.5
no!
weeks due to a smog service. Do not buy another diesel, go gas.
Oh no!
Yeah, there've been a lot of changes in the diesel world, and I
Mhm.
don't know that they're really for the better, at least from an ownership standpoint. That's why I
Hopefully, you're
kind of
back
like
on the
our
road,
old
KO.
diesel. So Michael says, I know a number of people who do not RV because of perceived danger.
Yeah,
Yeah, which
it's
is
sad.
I don't really it's not really it's not really more dangerous than anything. I mean, as we
Right.
as we have found out, just walking around in your own house and on your own property can be dangerous. Going up and down stairs can be dangerous. I mean, it's just a
Mhm.
fact. If you go out mowing your yard can be dangerous.
Yep.
Driving to the store is dangerous. RVing is no more dangerous than anything else you do in life. You just do it reasonably.
Yeah, I mean, you have to take, precautions just
Reasonable
like anything
precautions.
else.
But I mean,
Yeah.
you could sit home and it could be dangerous. So every life is dangerous. Mike and Kim are in Grovant Campground currently. That's awesome. They're there having a great time. Have you seen any moose? And are you really in the campground at this very moment? Because I'm wondering if you're getting any kind of
Are you
signal,
using
or are you
Starlink?
using Starlink? We had pretty good luck with Starlink out
Yeah.
there.
Sally Birch, thank you for being a channel member. We appreciate that very much. And thank you for the sweet compliment there.
And Wendy asked, "Are you going to do any videos about your overseas travels?" I think the answer is yes. I will ask you, would you guys be interested in those videos on long honeymoon? Or, I mean, should we put them on the second channel? Because I have the Shawn Michael simulation channel. That's just sort of an more experimental channel. I mean, it feels, it's a shame to me to have some of these incredible experiences and not share them. Because, I
Yeah.
mean, they're more meaningful and better for the world if you share the experiences. I mean,
Mhm.
earlier this year we were in Vietnam for about 3 weeks,
Yeah.
and of course in Thailand. I had an incredible experience. I guess in January, I reunited with a friend after 30 years in Slovakia. So this guy I had not seen in 30 years. I hadn't had any communication with him in 30 years. We'd kind of lost contact, and we were in Bratislava, Slovakia, and managed to, after doing a little detective work, track him down and reconnect with him. And had just an incredible sort of reunion. And that was just such a cool experience and cool story that I feel it should be shared, because
Mhm.
it's a cool life experience, and it's about friendship. And so, we will bring some of these stories to the
Wendy
channel.
says yes because they live vicariously through us.
I appreciate that very much, Wendy. I really do. I mean, we've posted some international or overseas content on Long Run Honeymoon before, and it typically gets the least number of views. I mean, quite honestly, I could probably do a generator review that would get more that would get more traffic than a video about reuniting with a friend in
Oh, Johnny
Slovakia.
Lightning says he subscribes to both.
Let's see. Vince says he got a solo stove and totally enjoyed it. Yeah, I think
That's awesome.
um, Larry says, do the foreign videos, but on a different channel. I think that makes sense, actually. So we probably will do that, Larry. I think that's cool because, like, maybe on the second channel, and the second channel got about 10,000 subscribers over there now. The Shawn Michael simulation. I'll put in a plug for it. Check it out because we might do some international travel, and maybe I'll start documenting some of my automotive stuff over there too, just for anybody that might be interested.
Yeah.
It'll be for the stuff that doesn't fit on Long Honeymoon. Johnny says, do videos on overseas travel. Doesn't matter because he subscribes to both. Thank you, Johnny. Johnny Lightning. Hopefully there's no more lag. Yep. John says they're in Grovant using Starlink. That's
It
pretty
really is a
amazing.
game changer.
Yeah, it is. So we love
And
Starlink.
somebody else said that you helped them their learning curve. Michael,
Yep. Thank you, Michael.
glad to hear that. Yeah, I think a lot of our videos over the years have been problems we've encountered on the road, how we took care of them, and then shared with you how to prevent it happening to you. So, I think anytime you can help somebody avoid the hiccups, it's a good thing.
Vince says, Loloho, visit Oregon. We love Oregon.
Yeah,
Thank you,
it's
Vince.
beautiful.
And we actually have great friends in the Portland area who they live in Washington, right on the border. So
Yeah.
they actually do a lot of work in Portland. And we would love to get back out there because it's been a couple of years. So maybe this year, if we can make it over to Oregon and go down to California to visit with Benny.
I would like to go along the coast again. It's been a long time since we've done that. And then I would also like to go to Bend, Oregon, because I've heard a lot of great things and we've never been there. So.
All right. So I think we're going to wrap up. We've gone for more than 90 minutes. Whenever we start one of these live chats, I always say, let's just go for 20, 30 minutes. We're not going to talk that long.
You can't even hardly get started at 20
I know.
minutes.
And it takes on a life of its own because, in our live chats, we really do try and read all your comments and interact with you guys. And we've done the best that we can. Apologies to anyone whose comment we did not read or acknowledge. We do the best we can when we're getting a lot of new comments. You always prod us with good questions, right? When I'm trying to wrap up, like from Canadian Chris, who says, "Are you ready for a new puppy?" I think we are. I think we need a dog in this life, in this family. I think a dog would lift our spirits a lot.
I think the hard thing for us is Baby Girl was our family dog, so it was ownership experience that we shared with my parents, and she went back and forth between my parents and us. So when we were out traveling in the Airstream or overseas, she was with my parents. When we were home, she was with us. So it was a great kind of situation for both of us, right? And Baby Girl loved it because she got spoiled rotten wherever she was. And now my mom has passed away. It's just my dad. And so we have to find a dog that my dad
if we can find the right dog
for.
I think the right dog would really work some magic, for all of us, and lifting everybody's spirits through what has been a pretty difficult time, to be honest.
Yeah. So maybe, hopefully.
Rodney got his Airstream ceramicized. That could be a new term.
At first I thought that said circumcised.
We should get that term trademarked or something.
Like,
that's pretty clever. So, all right, we're gonna start wrapping up here because someone wisely pointed out, it was Rick who said, "Y'all probably ready for dinner." I think so. Gary Walters suggests a Boston Terrier. Growing up, I always had Boston Terriers.
Yes.
They're really intelligent little dogs.
They are.
They're very family oriented. I love Boston Terriers, Vince says get a Dotson.
Oh, I would take Duke.
Yeah.
Can I have Duke? Duke is his dachshund. He's so cute.
Vince will never part with Duke. That's
of course
for sure.
not. But I'll dog sit for you next time we're in Grovant.
All right. Thank you for tuning in. Again, anybody that we did not acknowledge, our apologies. We did the best we could.
We do our best to try to acknowledge as many people as we can.
Has been yet another live stream from Long Long Honeymoon. And I think it really has improved our spirits, lifted our spirits, getting sort of hanging out with you guys virtually for more than 90 minutes.
Yes.
So as always, we were sponsored by Vinny's North Bay Airstream Repair. Shout out to Vinny. Check him out in his new location. And yes, we're still happy with our ceramic. So talk to Vinny about that.
Yes, absolutely. And we hope that you all have a very happy and safe 4th of July tomorrow. I hope you get to spend some time with the people you love and do some things that you love. And until next time.
Yeah. What do we say on this crazy channel? We say, Loloho. Thank you, guys.
Thanks for tuning in.